Hey everyone, this is just a quick video on what is CX architecture or customer experience architecture. And let's start with explaining maybe the context of CX design or customer experience design. What is that? Think of it as the art and science of designing customer experiences, right? Specifically experiences that are with your organization and specifically experiences throughout the different aspects of the relationships. So you can think of it as a linear, you can think of it as a loyalty loop, but there's different aspects of relationships that you have with the customers. And not only different aspects of relationships, but also across multiple channels, whether it is retail, direct mail, web, social, call center, you could have events, you could have other stuff. And within those channels, there's this concept of touch points. That there are specific touch points in which there is an interaction between a customer and your organization. So within this context, within this understanding, you have a customer journey or a customer map. So here's an example of a specific one, and this map depicts a specific customer journey across touch points for a specific customer or business benefit. Now this shows the first level of complexity customer journeys, is the interactions between these touch points and the complexity of the journeys, where you can have a specific business goal that is accomplished through multiple journeys, and you may have multiple steps in there that may coincide with each other or not coincide with each other, and they may have different conversion ratios between each other. So that's your first complexity here. The second complexity is the fact that those journeys and those touch points and even the channels exist across multiple customer segments. So a specific channel and a specific touch point can be used across multiple customers and within, and they can even serve multiple purposes within the context of a different journey. Okay, and sometimes those purposes may even conflict. Okay, so that's your second complexity. When you think of those touch points or channels across multiple segments, you may need them to behave differently. Now, if we zoom in into this ecosystem, and let's look at specific areas. So this is a specific aspect of a relationship. It's a conversion within a retail location. Within this context, we have different types of interaction points. There can be multiple points, and again, because you may have multiple types of customer segments interacting within this area. Okay, and there's multiple factors affecting this. So, a specific touch point may have multiple destinations, multiple exits, and it's may be affected by customer demand. Demand for, a specific product purchase. This person wants a specific product. May also be affected by business value. So the business or the organization wanting revenue, or there may be another business goal. Another factor that plays a role here could be a physical limit. A physical limit could be a processing limit or processing speed or queue size. So for example, you only have X number of cashiers, and therefore you can only process so many transactions at any point of time. Another factor that you may have is the business limits. So there may be specific business limits that play a part as well, and the business limit could be inventory, could be compliance, could be legal limitations. Now, all these impact across the entire organization, and they impact conversion, they impact customer satisfaction, and to some extent, all of these play a role in a number of bigger questions. So, for example, what is the cost? And how does the cost attribute across different types of revenue streams? But even more complex is, how to use this information in terms of deciding how to create a customer journey experience, in terms of what type of experience do you want to prioritize, what's more important, whether it's the product that's more important. Could also be that you're going to prioritize specific customer segment because they convert higher. Could be divisional budgets. So this information is somehow used to say, okay, for retail specifically, here is a budget because it generates or is responsible for generating X number of revenue, especially when you have multiple factors influencing a purchase. Could be platform budgets. So let's say there's a specific piece of technology that's used within the retail store location conversion, let's say POS. And you also want to attribute the value of a specific POS or an enhancement to POS. And again, this multitude of factors. So again, that's your second complexity. There's a third complexity in here that is also kind of changes everything, that changes the dynamic again, is the fact that all of these change all the time. Customer behavior changes all the time. If you're a retailer, what product you're selling may change at any point of time. The competition that you have with other retailers may change at any time. So this is not a picture that is static, but a picture that is fluid. So let me just kind of summarize the three complexities here. You have multiple customer segments that behave differently. You have multiple customer business factors that are involved and interacting with each other. And you have constant changes, so it's hard to predict whatever the customer experience is supposed to be like. So that also brings the point of what is the purpose. The purpose of CX architecture is to guide and bridge complex customer and business needs, both of them, to create higher shared value. This is important. This is not a financial model. Financial model's primary advantage is to generate financial value to the organization, but this is about higher shared value. So there's benefits from both. Okay. So this is the point of CX architecture. Similar to how you have a system architecture that has to also reconcile multiple needs. Okay, why is this important? Well, I'm assuming I don't have to explain the benefits of customer experience and how customer experience influences purchase. We have lots of different models, and very few of them are holistic. Very few do provide a holistic architecture that profits both sides. So this is your why. Okay, so there's too much complexity. If you were to create a model like this that looks at every single touch points, all the factors, and the fact that it can change at any point of time, yes, you can have an automation system or an AI engine. Most organizations are not that sophisticated. But regardless, you would still need to rely on a model to direct logic. Okay, so here is where there's a way of simplifying all of these dynamics here. Okay, and this comes primarily from lean principles from Edward Deming and system thinking. Okay, and it provides a single solution for this complex enterprise problem, and it focuses on dynamics. It focuses on interactions between these systems. Okay, so you have all types of activities that you can think of, and not within the context of a touch point, but within a context of dynamics between these touch points. And there are specific methods that you use to make this architecture. Okay, and here are the methods. So first, you visualize the ecosystem, and this table, or what I use, loyalty loops, is a way of visualizing the system. The second one is you reduce customer steps, and that again benefits both the customer and it also benefits the business. Benefits customers, easier experience, benefits the business, it's a higher conversion. Okay, maximize shared wins. So you direct experiences towards areas that again provide more value to the customer and also provide more value to the business. The other one is reduce cross dependencies or handoffs between the different systems, between different parts of the experience. And again, that provides benefits to both sides. To the business, if you have less dependencies, then you have less integration, smaller cost. To the customer, you have less cross dependencies, less handoffs. Means they can complete more within a single experience. Okay, so let's look at a little bit. So again, focus on those 4 methods. The first method is visualizing it. So there has to be a way of visualizing the entire experience. Second one that I mentioned is, okay, how do you reduce customer steps? So if you know that within a retail, you can, is there a way to reduce 4 steps? Acquire, let's say, uses 2 touch points. Educate uses another 2 touch points. Convert uses another touch points. And grow uses another 2 touch points. Can you simplify that process? If you think of it as a value stream within Lean, or if you think it as just simply a set of steps in a customer journey, can you simplify the process? Can you make that 3 steps? Can you make that 2 steps? Can that experience be a better experience? So that's what reducing customer steps. And again, that would benefit both sides. Another one that I mentioned was maximize shared wins. So let's say you have a situation where, and this is just an example, just an illustration. In this example, let's say direct mail, even though it is an actual touch point, it has a very low conversion ratio. Okay, and let's say it's also not a preferred medium for the customer. Okay, so remove it and don't use it. And it's a shared win. Direct the customer to other touch points, to other channels. It may to some extent from the UX experience, UX design may seem counterintuitive because you're reducing choices, but in fact you're giving them the preferred choice. You're directing them to a choice that statistically they would enjoy more. Okay. Next one I'll mention is reduce cross dependency. So if you have steps that force a user to jump across channels, let's say from web they have to go to retail to complete a specific journey, you're adding frustration. And you're also going to reduce your conversion. Not only that, if you create the need for an integration suddenly between that web and retail, a tighter integration. Instead, if you create a customer journey that can be contained within a single channel, not only is your conversion higher, you reduce the need for integration. Okay, and now they're more cost efficient, for example. Okay, so here are the 4 methods that I kind of provided examples for. And again, this is coming primarily from Lean Enterprise Principles. So you've heard why, you've heard how, now you want to know what. What does it look like? What does that model look like? That's one thing I can't tell you. I'm not going to give away all my secrets. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for, I hope you enjoyed kind of short video on what is CX architecture. And again, this is within the context of Lean Enterprise Principles. And I would love if you could give me some feedback on this. Thanks very much.